Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Good Morning Education Show. We are excited to be here, streaming from Lagos, Nigeria, to West Africa, to the entire world. This is the Good Morning Education Show. My name is Rotimi Aitayo, and we are excited to be back again. Yesterday, we had a great time, and I'm sure today we'll have another great time. As it is that we say on the show, it's always a great morning on the Good Morning Education Show. And we're always excited to host you. Yes, I mean you on the show with us as we also welcome our guests and friends, guest analysts who sometimes come on the show to share their thoughts and perspective on the subject matter of the day. Remember, this is your show, so you must feel welcome to share your perspective and make your contributions. And if there are questions that you might have with regards to the conversation that we're having or the headlines that we're treating, please do not hesitate to ask your question. This is the Good Morning Education Show. We say all the time that we want to learn together, we want to share together, so we all grow together. You can catch us on the Good Morning Education Show Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. West African time. On Saturdays, we have the weekend special and the weekend focus, where we start 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. West African time still. And then on Sunday, we move over to the special, the Sunday weekend special, and that is 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. West African time. You can't go wrong with the Good Morning Education Show, and we are very sure that you have a great time. I'd like to welcome one of our analysts on the show today, and I'm sure she can see me. Hope your internet is good. Welcome, Light. Light, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. You're welcome to Good Morning Education Show. I'm so happy to be here.
Fantastic. The Good Morning Education Show is a show that brings about happiness to everyone. And I'm glad you are happy, Light, to be here. And we hope to shed some light on the topic of today. How do you feel about that?
Excited?
Just excited? Come on, that you're excited. Let the world hear your scream that you're excited. Say, I'm excited.
I'm excited. I'm so happy to be here. Very happy.
Bell of blessing for you over there. Yeah, thank you. We always tell people that while we share things about education and while we share things about learning, it should also be fun. And we'll not spend so much time talking about headlines today. We're going to move straight on to the conversation of the day. I know that sometimes, after dissecting the headlines, it seems that we don't have ample time to really share on the conversation of the day. But today is going to be different. We're going to spend more time talking about the conversation of the day. And I feel that there are a lot of things that people are doing, and hopefully, as a result of the show today, there will be improvement. There will be better outcomes. There's a statement I'm saying that I frequently use when I spend time training people, and I say that when people know better, they always end up doing better. What do you think about that, Light?
Yeah, that is very true. Very true.
Yes. So we're talking about commandments for personal development. Commandments for personal development. When we talk about
Very
commandments, of
interesting
course,
topic.
yes, when we talk about commandments, a lot of people, um, how do I put it now? A lot of people cast their mind back to, of course, one of the most popular context of commandments, about the Ten Commandments. And sometimes
And commandment.
growing up, we have friends, we have colleagues who sometimes add to the commandment and they'll tell you that, do you know about the 11th commandment? But we don't know whether we'll be able to get to 11 commandments. Don't talk of 10 commandments, talk of 11 commandments. But I think that commandments sometimes are like laws or prerequisites, right? and they stand as pillar and milestones that benchmark the outcome of certain things that we do. And when we talk about personal development, I think that there should be some laws of some sort, that guides what it is that we seek, that guides what it is that we do when it comes to personal development. A lot of times people get overwhelmed, and sometimes people just feel that when it comes to the word commandment, anything goes, or personal development, you just need to read. So many people just pick up books and so many things. So I think the very first question that I should ask, or better still, the very first question that we should tackle should be on personal development. So I'd like you to start and take some time to talk about it. Like, what is personal development to you? It doesn't have to be dictionary meaning, but as far as you're concerned, what is personal development?
Okay. So, I think personal development are the necessary skills or the necessary steps that you need to take to be able to get equipped to be better. So when I talk about being better, I talk about being better personally because there are different aspects of life that one needs to leverage on when you talk about development. So the word development in itself is meant to be holistic. You can't say that you're developed in one area and the other part is kind of not balanced. So for you to be able to live a balanced life and for you to experience development in its actual sense, you have to be able to get skills, you have to be able to get the necessary knowledge that can help you to be better in different aspects of your life. And when I mean different aspects, I mean both your social life, both your financial life, both I mean also your life, even your career, your relationship. So all those things are all aspects of personal development. So when you take that step to become better in these aspects of your life, then that is you're going to that's the journey of personal development. That in that way you're becoming better, you're becoming more articulate, you're becoming a better person. And when you talk about being a better person, like I said initially, it's not just one aspect is actually meant to be holistic. So when we talk about the 360 life, it should not just be one area of your life, but in every aspect of your life. So to me, that is personal development. I think you're mute. You may need to unmute yourself. Can hear you.
Thank you very much. I like the fact that you put in the word better in that context. So it's almost like saying that if we were to use another word for personal development, it's safe to say it's called better development. You know, though it's personal,
Yeah.
but in the real shape of it, we are qualifying what the development itself, you know, the development itself is. So that's truly what it is. Now, on the heels of that, let me just say my own. I think that personal development should be seen as the progression and the increment in value and disposition of an individual, because it's personal. Your personal domain more or less has to do with things that evolve around the individual. And because of that, there must be laws. For those who are joining us, this is the Good Morning Education Show. We're talking about commandments for personal development. I believe that there should be laws that guide our personal development. And the reason, just practical reason, being that development is something that we all would really love to experience, right? We love to look forward to, how do you put it now? We love to look forward to having better increments in outcomes. But the truth of the matter is, there must be sometimes context and content, that applies to personal development. And if we were to make that clear, then I think that laws must follow, laws or principles that just make sure that when we are actually, you know, driving for personal development, there must be certain things in place. And I'd like to start that it might not necessarily be in sequence, and you're saying that this must come first. But I think that the first law, because of this conversation, not the first law in sequence, or the first commandment for personal development, is that it must lead to your goal. It must lead to your goal. Personal development that doesn't lead to your goal is not really a great development. What do you think about that? Light?
No, I was trying to unmute. Yes, that is very, very key because it's very important, first of all, to understand like when the saying that goes that it's when you're running even with speed on the wrong direction, you're still bound to make a lot of mistakes. So it's important to understand the goal, to understand what exactly the purpose of what you want to achieve, the purpose of your life, and to be able to get the right skill, the right knowledge that you need. So it just reminds me that when I call member, people come to the campground to sell their services, their products, and you see a lot of us we are doing this HSC, we are doing this, we're doing a lot of things. Yes, at that point it was okay, but sincerely, many of us did not use those skills at all after the end the service year. Why? Because because we're not those skills were not needed for where we were going to or the direction or whatever we wanted to do after. So I think this is very important because if many of us had understood what exactly we wanted to do and why we wanted to do it, it would have guided us on the right skill or the right knowledge to be able to take, and it would have really helped us not to waste because a friend of mine told I was like, don't waste your money on those things because eventually you may not use that. So it will just guide us on what to really spend our money on, the right knowledge that we need to do to take, and the right skills that we need to acquire, even as a person, as an individual. And at the end of the day, would have been better off for it. So I think the key one, just like you said, knowing your goal is a must. Is is definitely a must.
Thank you very much. It's very important that we all understand that it leads to our goal. But then I think if we're going to progress on that, another law, another commandment that we must observe when it comes to personal development is that personal development must link. The first one says lead. Personal development must link to your growth. When we said we were to christen another word for personal development, we talked about better development, right? It must link, with and to your growth. I want you to speak about that as well.
Okay, so just like the word says, development. So there is no development when there is no growth. So it's very important that your personal development is linked to your growth. And just like the first commandment says, that it should lead to your goal. So you said the word, you used the word which I like when you were trying to talk about defining what you understand by personal development. You said progression. So one thing that should be constant as you develop, or one thing that should be constant as you take your personal development goals and all, is progression. There should be progress because that is what development is about. So once this is happening, then yes, you know you're on the right track and you know that yes, you're doing the right thing. So I agree with you saying that personal development should be linked to your growth. It's also a very important commandment.
Okay, so and I know that a lot of people, out there are looking at it that okay, these things they're saying make sense, but let's look at another element that makes it a bit more practical, showing step by step. I believe that one of the things that we'll say commandments for personal development is that we all must have what you call sustained hunger. You know,
Okay.
situations can cause us to desire things. Trend can cause us to desire things. Conditions can cause us to desire things. In fact, counsel, can cause us to desire things. But when you desire, for example, you want desire to be a better person, you want desire to know how to speak in public, you want desire to know how to do small scale business, you want desire to know how to have craft, you know. I think that for the desire to manifest into development, there must be sustained hunger. Think about people who look at food and they say, I'm not interested. And you're wondering, but this is food. It's because I don't feel like I like eating. Or somebody says, I'm not a food person. There are people like that. They rather jump at cake than a proper meal. Light, do you understand? Do you understand?
Yeah, I can relate.
I know you can relate. So what would you say about sustained hunger? Not just having hunger, which is a product of desire, but sustained hunger. Because I found out that when hunger is sustained, you almost get to eventually have the result than when it's just desire. Desire, a little delay, a little resistance, a little hindrance. Sometimes we tend to shift ground. What's your take on that?
Okay, so yes, that is a very important point because yes, for you to be developed or for you to actually achieve personal development, you have to have the sustained of hunger. And one reason or one thing I would advise or encourage is, the truth is sometimes some situations that or some scenarios we find ourselves can want us or can give us that we desire to be better. For example, let me just take an instance. Someone reached out to me and was like, she wanted to learn how to speak French. And I was like, okay, fine. But guess what? After like a month, she just told me, I don't think it's possible. I'm tired, and she just gave her all excuses and all. But now, at that point, if she's able to remember the reason, because most times, anytime someone reached out to me to ask me, I want to learn this, I want to do this, I'm always asking, why do you want to do it? So when you understand the reason why, I think that's another point that will help you to not to give up, one, and also to sustain this hunger that is needed for you to be able to achieve development in that aspect you're driving towards. So this is very important. Yes, sustain hunger at every point in time, remembering the why, reminding yourself the reason why you started that journey, the reason why you are embarking on, the reason why you want the skill, the reason why you want this knowledge is really going to help. It's really going to help you times when you feel it's so challenging, times when you feel I can't do it anymore, times when you are discouraged, times when you don't feel motivated. So the reason, your why, is going to help you, going to keep that hunger, it's going to keep you striving, it's going to keep you wanting to be a better person. So I think that is very important to be able to sustain the hunger. You just have to always remember the reason why you started at first.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
I think you need to unmute.
Is it,
Okay.
can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, fantastic. So yes, I love what you're saying. Um, I would also want us to think about it. As people begin to pursue personal development, you know, I think we need to ask ourselves what are the blind spots before we even get to further in on more commandments. I think there are some blind spots. I'll share one, and I'd like you to also, not just explain it, but I'd like you to share your own thoughts. Because I think that, take for example, you want to learn video editing. A lot of people think about the end, so much so that you see yourself earning money, see yourself charging client, billing
Yeah.
clients, but we fail to see the curve, the growth process, the starting process, the the compliance, the quality process. So many things are not there, and people begin to, complain, or people begin to wonder. What do you think? I for one think that a lot of people miss on that element a lot.
Yeah. Yes, that is very true. So most times we are always seeing the end and forgetting the process, and actually forgetting that there's a process, and that process may be very challenging. I also think another blind spot that many people get to overlook in the pursuit of personal development is the fact that it's going to involve time, it's going to involve energy. You're going to also need resources. So that is also one thing. People don't really calculate the cost. People don't really calculate the cost when on their pursuit towards personal development. And the truth is, there is a cost. There's always a price for everything. And even for development to be achieved, especially holistic development, there is a lot that needs to be considered. There's a lot that needs to happen. And the cost is also another blind spot that people don't look at. People don't really people don't really what can I say? People don't really look at it or try to evaluate before starting that. So apart from the fact that yes, we don't look at the process, we just visualize ourselves doing the magic without understanding that there is actually a process to the magic for the magic to be achieved. Another thing that we don't really emphasize or we don't even evaluate is the cost. There's a cost for development. There's a price that needs to be paid. You have to put your energy, you have to put your time, you have to put your resources. There's a lot that needs to be done. It can't just be done um, for nothing because nothing goes for nothing. So you have to put in a lot. And once we understand that this is important, this is going to take a chunk of me, this is going to take something from me. I have to give in something to be able to get the best. Because just like when you want to get something of value, you have to pay a price for it. So it's very important that we also consider the cost, consider the price, consider what we need to give, and we need to just understand that on our pursuit towards personal development. It helps. And that is a blind spot that many people, or many of us, including me, let me put myself too, many of us don't look at when we are pursuing or when we are trying to achieve development in a certain area of our life, or when we're trying to achieve growth in any aspect of our life. Okay?
Thank you very much. As you're running that feedback, I guess we have Aderisola in the building. She's just joined us. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good
Good
morning,
morning.
Aderisala.
Hello. Okay. So we're talking about personal development, and our topic says commandments or laws or principles for personal development? I know that Adesola is an ardent advocate for personal development, and our own personal development is wearing suit and tie and pocket square. So we like I like her to, just share with everyone, what she sees personal development as, what must be in place, what should be the laws of personal development as far as she's concerned. What are the things that people must avoid, or what are the blind spots that people usually have? Over to you, Adenisola.
Okay, so for me, I think personal development is you first identifying what you lack, then um, finding the things or the people that are going to help you complement that things that you lack personally. And that is what I consider personal development. What do I lack? What do I need to build in myself? Now, however, people see personal development. It's funny how some people see personal development as maybe, going to a designer to have a brand logo, things like that. Oh, you have a brand logo, or you have. I always say personal development is about you, not the although it will get to probably a stage that probably you need branding, because you need to probably you need people to see a color and play with you, all those imagery things that has to do with colors and all those fonts and all those things. But from the initial stage, you need to identify personal development is, do I need this? Then I find the person that can teach me, or the places I can learn from. That is personal development. Now, in the journey of personal development, you need to understand that you can't do everything at once. And what determines what you choose first has to do with a lot of clarity on the overall goal. And that is where many people get it wrong. They see someone who they have never seen the person's personal development journey strategy, and they jump on what the person is doing. It's like someone seeing me now, maybe creating a like, okay, I've been talking about maybe even building LinkedIn profiles and all those things for a while, maybe since last year, right? But I did not branch it out into something that was solely related to maybe the Aderi Solar page, instead of Hydrogen Africa page. So maybe a couple of months ago. But I've been talking about attracting and applying for global opportunities since, where the attraction has to do with you building your personal brand to attract, and the other one has to do with application. I had enough sense to know that on the overall this thing, I needed to build both voices first. Then, when people now maybe know me enough, I can now make it stand alone as my personal brand, as what I do. So you would notice that when it comes to my personal profiles now, I'm mostly talking about attracting using LinkedIn, because now I'm trying to build a personal brand that is associated with attracting opportunities instead of the two. While I'm letting I Train Africa carry that load of application. But if as at last someone now sees me now and is trying to say, okay, I want to build a personal brand for whatever it is, instead of them first building like the totality of whatever it is they want to do, they start to niche and start building things, or even start doing things that is at the end of the ladder or at the end of the rope, instead of doing the first as in the things first. So I always say, for you need clarity around, what do I need, what goal do I achieve, which one do I start with, which program do I start with. So if what you need is, like, let me say, if a free learning, start from the free learning. A coach will now help you build your personal brand just because you are associated with that coach like overnight. You would need to do the work. Personal brand is not what you build, because it's about perception. It's about perception. How do people see you? You just don't show up in one day and think people to, like, it's consistently doing things that people now say, oh, if you look at that person, if you think about that person, this is what comes to your mind. It's about perception. And for you to build perception about yourself, it has to be in the things you say, the way you act, how you react to matters, not in the color that you put out.
Thank you so much. If someone wants to ask me, um, so let me let me let me see. When I see Adesola, what do I see? Adesola, guess what I see? Adesola, can you guess what I see?
What do you see?
I said guess now.
Um, I don't even know.
I don't want to be naughty, so let me not say anything. But I love the things that you've said. It's almost like making sure that people realize that personal development is not necessarily the optics, it's not the outcome. Personal development is more of the essence and the process. The outcome is what we see, is the result. Because of that, we can now say you are this person. Because of that, we cannot identify you are worth this, you have this value, or you resonate with this. And I love another thing, and I see it on the screen right now. You can't do all at once. You need to ring the bell of blessing for that. You can't do. Look, I, as an individual, sometimes have to take a pause and tell myself that as well. It's a temptation that you want to go the 9 yards and you want to go all through the levels almost at the same time. We also can tell that we grew up from being babies to toddlers to, teenagers and the like. Everybody did not come out as a full-fledged adult. So there's a place of time. And Adrian Stoller also said that you need to be able to ask yourself, do I need this? Which takes me to the question I want to ask Olushola Olumide. The role of discipline. I think commandment number 3 or 4 should be you must be disciplined. I think it takes a lot of discipline to journey on personal development. And Olushola, I'm sure, is the best person to answer that question. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Dr. Darren. Light, good morning. Nice to be here, and lovely submission there from Dr. Darren Sola. And talking about discipline, I don't know. I think to a great extent it should be right. Success don't come by, or achievement doesn't come by chance. Look at the length and breadth of the spectrum. Anywhere you see anybody achieving, there's a level of discipline and the ability to be accountable to yourself and doing the right thing when you are supposed to do it. And this living goes a long way. I want to use the athlete for an example. I did little of sport in my teenage years, and there are certain men, as good as they are not good for you. You are told not to take them, what to eat, when to eat. Then you have a routine, and go and find out any athlete. It's more of discipline that led to their success. Because I have seen great athletes who are lazy. I used to have a guy in my team then, extraordinarily skillful, but he was lazy. When it comes to training, he was lazy. So our coach will always say, I'm not going to use you. I'm not going to. Yes, you are good, but you can't stand the test of time. Life is marathon, not a sprint, not 100 meters dash. If after the first 10 minutes, you have displayed so much skill, and the next 80 minutes, you are dragging behind, you cannot meet up, disaster will happen. And God is not going to increase 24 hours for anybody. Now, how much of a discipline we put into it, where we go, who we associate with, what we allow into our life. So discipline affects every area of our life. So it is good you have said, one of the commandments is that thou shalt be Discipline. And guess what? If you are not disciplined, somebody somewhere will discipline you. Because when you mess up, people will put it to your face. And when you do things that is not in alignment with what you claim to know or claim to be, yes, people will put it to your face and they say, so that guy is a scam. He's only making noise, an empty barrel. So I think the discipline will even help us to squeeze out the juice in us. I see the discipline as trying to squeeze an orange, get the water. The level of the squeezing will determine the number or the liters or the metrics of content that will come out. If you just squeeze it with your fingers on it as if the thing is crying, don't press me, yes, something will come out, but you know there is a limit. When you press it further, something will come out. When you press it further, you see that something will come out. So as individuals, no matter who we are, if you are not disciplined, we'll begin to decay. So I will say, if ever somebody would develop, have you discovered that it's not easy doing the right thing? It is. In fact, if you want to do the wrong thing, you also need discipline to do the wrong thing. Because if you are on the wrong lane and people are saying, oh, that guy is doing it but wrong way, he has to be disciplined and consistent. Discipline is also consistency. And you know the way we have been wired, our mind, that is where the discipline should start from. Once your mind is trained and disciplined to adjust to certain things, do you know what? Other may see it as stressful, so difficult. No, I can't do it. But the person will look at it and say, you know what? I can do this. I can go this far. I can do more. In fact, this will shock you, Rotimi. I noticed something. You know, there is this local sport, people using ram to fight. Yes. Do you know I noticed something? I think I read it in a Punch newspaper, that in order for the owner of the animal to drill the animal to stand the test of time when the animal is fighting, they take the animal out on a walk. The animal will walk some kilometers, forth and back. Yes, the animal will be panting, but the more the animal treks, the more the strength to withstand pressure when it comes to fight. And people are making so lot of money gambling just using animal to fight. That it's not enough for your animal to fight. He can fight, fine. But if he sees another animal that is more rugged and can stand the test of time, the one that appears to have greater power will run away. So in every facet of life, discipline matters a lot. And ability to keep up. You know, when I saw the topic, what came to my mind is I wanted to say, don't indulge yourself. I said, no, don't overindulge yourself, because at one point or other, we have the way of indulging ourselves. And I will usually say the magnitude, the strength of our success is proportionate to our level of discipline, or disproportionate to our level of self-indulgence. Thank you.
Wow. That's amazing. Amazing. And you know, it's just like some of the things I've experienced personally, you know, especially when I had a particular time when I didn't have a lot of travels. You know, there's just this feeling that you just, you know, sitting, and then when you now have the demand to travel, you have to almost feel like you drag yourself up and down, and to take that decision, you push it, you push it, you push it. But the moment you start and you break that thing called inertia, you are able to start. What happens is that it gives you the opportunity to just push forth, and then you get back into the mix. It's also the same thing writers also face. You know, the thought of writing a book can be exciting, but when you begin on the path of writing, you know, you start to see that, I have how many pages to go, how many chapters to go. But discipline is almost like that lubricant that makes execution eventually successful. You know, and I want to take the question now back to Adenisola, you know, having been a mentor to so many young people, and also guiding people on their path to personal development. What would you um, put out as your own critical success factors If there were any, what would your own critical success factors be?
Okay, I would say my critical success factors, I think it is based on the three things that guides me as a person and as a business. I always say the first one is integrity. The second one has to do with punctuality. And the third one has to do with impact. So the first one that has to do with integrity means that no matter how fanciful you pack anything that has corner, I'm not going to go for it. Like, it's just like a standard. So it means that, and I know for sure that anything that has to do with integrity is probably even harder to build than something that is shady. So because I have that at the back of my mind that if you need to build integrity, there's work. In fact, on your journey, you would encounter more more setbacks, more obstacles, because especially when you live in a system that the odds are against you, or you live in the climb that the odds are against you. So at the end of the day, it may take you a harder time to build those kind of things, but the moment you are able to learn success in it, people will associate with you in it. And I always say, like, that is why with me, even when I will say I don't have money, people, I'm able to probably drag people to do something for me. Maybe like as in how maybe I was saying, oh, Mr. Lushola, come and mentor people for me. It's not like I paid in or I paid you to come and do this thing for me, but it is probably based on goodwill of the kind of person I am. I say, oh, let me do this thing for this person. That is, it is based on that I'm able to say, oh, people from all over the world should come and do a conference for me, and they are able to do it because why? They may not be getting money from me, but they like the person that they are associating with. That is it is a currency that it will take a long time to have it, but when you have it, and like it, in fact, I always tell you that if I have to probably pay every single person that came to speak or support or mentor during that particular program, I can, like, in fact, make my whatever, my entire family member and everything cannot pay it, because these are people that should be charging me thousands of dollars, right? As in, I can't just pay it. So that's the very first critical thing to success. And depending on the kind of success or what success means to you. Then the second one has to do with punctuality. I always say thank you to my father for that, because you don't build punctuality overnight. You are probably trained with it as a child. I remember someone still reaching out to me to join one of their boards, I think 2-3 days ago, and they set up a meeting. The guy was thinking because I was not replying to messages, as in he sent me an email, I didn't, as in I replied, let me say 20 minutes later, I was telling his partner that maybe I won't show up for the meeting. The meeting was 4:59, I was at the meeting door, right? So when I didn't see this guy, I tried to send him a message, like, let me say at 5:03 or 5:05. Where are you? This one, that one. I'm waiting at the meeting. But like, when he did not see me reply his message on this thing, I thought I would not show up for the meeting. I said, we agreed. Do you understand? So when people know you with punctuality, and in fact, even in my program, I will be making nice. If you like, I tell you our program is starting 6 a.m. Though I was this thing, come. So the day you don't show up, if you are 3 minutes late, somebody will say something is wrong with that girl. Something has happened to her or something. Let people know you with that kind of thing. Not that the day you die on the road, so they'll say that boy man shining here, they are like, do less color yet. That kind of thing. As in, punctuality is very key, especially when you start building up. Like, look, don't waste people's time. Busy people don't like people wasting their time. Like, or people that are really, they don't like people wasting their time. They need to keep the time. So don't use your jaga kind of this African time. And I always emphasize this. I know I kept hammering on it when I was mentoring youths then. I said, please, I beg you, on the global stage, there is nothing like African time. So it is very appalling when you people come to a program like the one I did. I worked on the National History of Museum, that London, whatever. 10 minutes to 10. The program was starting 10. When I got in at 10 minutes to 10, all the Indians were in the room, not one Nigerian. The first Nigerian entered at exactly 10 o'clock. By 10:03, they were asking me, and I was a design lead. Adrian Shola, please, are you certain of when your people are coming? I was pissed. Like, what kind of, and I was stammering it. In fact, I even had a pre-program with them to say, you people don't come and disgrace me here. This is not a thing globally. So if you want to succeed and beyond your local skill that you think everything works, punctuality has to be a part of you. And of course, the third one, impact. Come on. What is success without impact? No matter the company, even companies now that they used to do impact work before, they now call it CSR, corporate social responsibility, trying to build this thing. Because at the end of the day, we've moved to an age where people are now concerned about impact in the world. So even if you are building success as a business or as a person, make sure, even if it is small, make sure there is impact in that thing that you are building. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Three strong philosophies that drive Aderisola's business and personal pursuit. And I tell you, it's not just a principle that is accustomed just to Aderisola. It will work for anyone who embraces it. And then one can see why you are that thorough and detailed. Yeah. I'm gonna ask light. I'll ask you something light. So when it comes to commandments for personal development, you know, what do you do when you feel like there's so much to do, um, but you just want to take it easy, you know. Then they say, "Don't kill yourself," or "I cannot come and kill myself." What should be our disposition as we build and as we build ourselves? Your mic is muted.
So sorry. So I was referring to the statement that you made. That is one sentence that is very common. I cannot go and come and die. That kind of sentence. Well, but as an educator, most times the truth is development is key because you cannot really be a person of impact or impact your children during your classes if you're not developed, like if you don't really go for growth and all. And right now with the trends, especially in technology space, there's really a lot to do, sincerely. There's a lot you need to learn, there are lots of skills that you need to acquire for you to still stay on the edge and for you to still stand out and be that educator that you need to be. But the first thing that I do, or the first thing that we need to do is, first of all, be open minded. So many times, especially in my space, trying to train teachers on how to use some tech tools, and from the onset, they are pessimistic about it. You're hearing things like, it's too hard, it's not possible. How will your children do this? No. So I feel, first of all, you need to be open minded, you need to be optimistic about it, you need to be open to it, knowing that this is what I need to do. Then, secondly, you have to prioritize, you have to know what comes first. Just like what Dr. Adebisola said, that you cannot do everything at once. It's not just possible. If not, you're going to be overwhelmed. So you need to know, okay, what do I do first? What is very important. What do I need to do now that is going to help me now? And we all know that development comes in stages. So as you move from one stage to the other, that's when you're going to experience the progression that you need and the growth that is very important in our life. So open-minded and prioritizing is very important. Just make sure that you're calm through the process, because especially as an educator, speaking from our point of view, there are lots of apps that you need to learn. And even some schools, they are not done with using one app, they are bringing a new one, and you're wondering, this is so much. But understanding that the brain can assimilate a lot, especially once you put your mind to do it. So once you put your mind that I can actually achieve this, I can learn this, I can make my children in my classroom do this too. So once you've achieved that, once you've told your brain that you're able to assimilate it, you're able to learn it, you're able to stretch yourself and take on the challenges that you need to take to be a better educator, to be a better individual too.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to ask Olushola this question. Olushola Olumide, I'm going to ask him, you know, is there a cheat mode? Is there an accelerator, towards,
Wow.
how you say, well, towards, towards, there's so much to do. Is there a way we can, I won't want to use the word shortcut. Shortcut,
Uh,
accelerate, cheat mode.
shortcut, there is
Uh,
no. Shortcut is
Olushola,
meant to be the word you're meant to say. Now I'm saying
Eh,
shortcut is what you are
Hello,
familiar with as you
hel-
shortcut.
hel-
There is
hello,
shortcut.
hello. Where? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Now, I understand the routine me, but do you know that it's like somebody telling you you can beat the time. It's like you're expected to. There is an accelerator, and not necessarily a shortcut. Of course, every shortcut I have known in life, in the final analysis, leads to failure. Because I tell people, for every responsibility you dodge, you lose the experience that comes with that responsibility. And if you don't know it, you don't know it, irrespective of your age or your education. If you don't know how the process works, you don't know it. Now, do you know that we can also be given what we call head starts? It's like an unfair advantage. Maybe the way we've been raised, the people in our circle of influence. Take, for example, we can have the same assignment and it's supposed to be delivered in 10 days. Why I'm still trying to get it delivered in the 8th or the 9th day, you were done in the 5th day. People can come into your space. It's like you are paid it forward. And some people see the need to come in and help you because you are not going to be an island. And even the only rich put it this way that two are better than one, two good people anyway, that want to him that is alone. If he falls, he has nobody to raise him up. Like Dr. Derin said, the caliber of circle of influence you have. See, development may not always be a solo effort thing. What I mean by that is this. Take, for example, I wrote some of the books I wrote because of some of the work I am doing of volunteering. I am grateful for anyone and everyone who has engaged me for something. If I wasn't engaged for that thing, do you know I will not go sit down, read, write, and research into that field. In 2022, there are things of course, apart from I Train Africa, we've gone through an hackathon training, 4 weeks. If I didn't come across Dr. Derin Sola, probably somebody, and presently I am one of the evaluators for the Indian Global Innovation Lab coming in December. I wouldn't even know those things exist. And guess what? So those are kind of development. I have asked to travel with you, Rotimi, to different places. And if you didn't involve me, I would lose those experience. I would lose those people I met. Then probably the benefit that accrued. Somebody landed in the US about a week ago and was talking with my wife. And he said the person just was in Abuja before traveling, and some people saw my picture. So the person was so wise. I met this guy in Lagos. So he's such a big person like this. I was just laughing. He said, people are just talking about you everywhere in Abuja. The people they are talking about, maybe I don't even know them. But do you know our net worth? It is said that determines our net worth determines our net worth. So there is a sort of development we gain by the virtue of people we associate with. So I feel we can beat time to it through our circle of influence, through our exposure, through the kind of training we have and opportunities that comes our way, without necessarily having a shortcut. In fact, do you know at times the people you know can give you certain head start and say, no, it's my person and they recommend me. It's a function of development. I don't just want to see us as a sort of an inner growth. I'm looking at it laterally and vertically now, within and without. There are certain things we enjoy or we achieve not by our solo effort alone, but by the virtue of the people we interact with, who comes handy into our life, add value to us, and help to lift us up. Somebody said, if I can see farther, it is because I'm standing on the shoulder of some people. So, in a way, standing on the shoulder of people, do you know anybody that sees us as tall as we are, thinks we are so great, but not necessarily we are that great, except that we leverage on the shoulder of certain people, which also add to the perception of people about us, and it translates to our success anyway. So it's a form of development. Thank you.
So before I let you off, I'm going to ask you and Light this final question as we bring the show to an end or to a close today. And the question is, I'll probably ask Light first so that we'll end with Olushola Olumide. And the question is this: for those of us who are in the business of personal development, we try to get into the self-help industry. You know, there's sometimes a particular kind of market. Let's say, for example, a state or a zone or a country, let's even say maybe like Nigeria. I will notice that a lot of people are fatigued of personal development, or a lot of people are not responsive as we think or we desire them to be. What can we do? Because we're talking about someone whose livelihood is probably anchored on this kind of industry. How do we get people to get that culture, embrace that culture of personal development, so that there's a ripple effect? People are developed and better. Of course, the businesses are running and they don't close shop. Light, please answer them. We'll come to Olushola. This is your final shot for today.
Okay. So this is very true. A lot of people experience the fatigue. And remember, you said initially at the beginning that even for you to acquire or for you to achieve personal development or growth in any aspect of your life, you need to have this sustained hunger, which is key. So why I really think, first of all, which is what I said initially, is this. At every point in time, yes, for example, I want to learn a particular tool, how to use a tech tool in my class. At that point, I really desire to learn this. And I have the reason why I want to do this because I want to become a better educator. I want to make sure I'm able to meet the individual needs of the students in my room. So that is my why. So even at any point in time when I'm faced with a lot of things or when I feel that it's too hard, for example, what there's a course I'm training on the how to use digital teacher course, which is supported by UNESCO. The course is massive in itself. It requires you to, it's not just for you to get the certificate. You have to go through the course before you can be able to understand and get the certification at the end of the day. So we always experience people coming in, they are all excited, and guess what? 2 weeks into it, they are already tired. They are just demotivated. So at a particular point in time, what I do in the group or even reach out to them personally is what I do is I try to call them, I try to ask them that don't forget the why, don't forget the reason why you are doing this. And also let them see the end goal, knowing that this is a process and this is the end goal. At the end of the day, you're going to be a better person, you're going to be a skilled educator. Tell them what they can really achieve. So I feel one, when they understand the end goal, having the end goal in mind, and also when they are encouraged, knowing that there's a why and the reason why they don't have to at any point in time give up. So knowing the why is very important and encouraging them at every point in time is key.
All right, thank you. Olushola.
Thank you there, Light, for that. Number one, I think it's personal. Then number two, it is systemic. Staying motivated requires a whole long ounce of courage And then, like Light said, you think futuristic. Think futuristic. Think futuristic. That thing may not bring any benefit now, but please think, think, think ahead. So that goes a long way. And after you have done it, it may not translate into money immediately, but please look ahead, adding value to yourself. It's not every time we add value to ourselves that it translates into monetary benefit. However, that knowledge you have is a matter of time when it will be used. Do you know if you go through a process and fail, in the actual sense of it, you didn't fail because you have learned one or two things in that process, only you didn't pass that exam. Then systemic because we've sacrificed merit on the altar of mediocrity. We see people where who feel because they know somebody, they are not putting in as much as you do. Nobody's asking them to be responsible, and they are the one getting promotion. So at times somebody feels, why all this? Why is all this? Somebody is working, the other person is eating. But if you look at yourself, that wherever you are now is not where you hope to end it. See, I chose to work with government, but do you know one thing? Right from day one of the things I told myself is that I will not allow this environment to condition me. As at that time, I've not written a single book. I may not know all that I wanted, but I knew what I didn't want. I've not written a single book, but I knew I needed my time. I needed time to clear my head, think, and chart a course for myself. And that I am working with government. I will not allow the system to condition me. I think we must constantly remind ourselves, do a retreat. Also, like Light said, go back to your why. Why did I find myself here? Apart from the spiritual element for me as a person, there were things God told me some 10, 15 years ago that are just coming to pass now. And that is why I don't really fidget. I just move. I feel my life is the hand of God. However, God doesn't do magic. I have to play my part for God to key me into what He told me He would do. And seamlessly, I had a very hectic June. Virtually all the weekend were filled up. I kept wondering, where are these people getting my contact from? And people are sending me, oh, will you be available for this? Already, I have some things in September, maybe another one, maybe October or whatever. And I can't remember the second date now. But some 10, 15 years ago, it doesn't look like it. If I went to sleep, and of course, I will buy books, I will do courses, I will read, I will stay up late in the night for no just cause reason. Let me use that, allow me to use that word. For no just cause, so to say. Reading is as if, my friend, where are you heading to in life that you want to kill yourself? It's better to die and achieve. Because a non-achiever is the person not dying. A non-achiever is dying by default. Unfortunately, he or she will not be remembered for anything, even though he died. But an achiever, even though he dies, will be remembered. He will have left legacy behind. He will have impacted so much people. So I want to encourage educators out there. Stay motivated. You may not have money. You know, at times I sit back and I look at what I have been through. Celebrate your wins, no matter how little. Yes, no money in your pocket. You have not fared well. I say sorry. If you give up on life, does that solve your problem? Because you have not made it and try to quit, you nail your own coffin. Why don't you stay motivated? Somebody somewhere is even looking at you, looking at your work, appreciating you, but you didn't know. So please keep motivated, keep adding value, because that will serve as a tool for better negotiation to go to higher ground in the years to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We've had so much to learn, so much to glean from today's show. And I think it's a very good place to put a close to this subject matter. We will be here tomorrow, God willing, and we'll have a great time on the show as well. And until then, make sure you have yourself a great day. And as usual, we're going to end our show in our usual style, the count of 2. So Light, unmute yourself, and Olusola, unmute yourself as we get ready. 1, 2. It's
It's a great
always
morning.
a
a
great
good
Good
morning
morning
morning.
on the
on the
Good
good.
Morning Education Show.
Have a fantastic
Bye.
day. Bye, everyone. Bye.